King of Fighters, SNK's most famous franchise and one of the longest running series in all of gaming. With the 15th installment just around the corner, I spent the last few months trying to pick the series apart, gathering all the key little details, and getting my ass completely kicked by those that have played these games for many years. Now I'm no lore master, but I'm going to do my best to put it all together as we journey through the King of Fighters legacy. King of Fighters can be known for many things, from its colorful cast of unique characters, dope-ass soundtracks, and awesome-looking desperation moves. What it's probably best known for is the rivalry between Kyo Kusanagi and Iori Yagami. Welcome to the King of Fighters Legacy Part 2, covering the events of King of Fighters 95. In Part 1, we talked briefly about the lineage of Kyo Kusanagi and the Kusanagi clan, but it goes a bit deeper. 1800 years prior to the events of the King of Fighters, a divine being known as Orochi, calling itself Gaia's will, Gaia being Earth, could no longer tolerate the destruction of nature as a byproduct of human progression, and decided it was time to wipe humanity from existence. Orochi would gain followers to his cause. Forming a clan called the Hakushu, Orochi used its powers gained from nature as a tool for chaos. Orochi and the Hakushu waged war against mankind, until the three clans, the Yasakani, the Yada, and the Kusanagi, defeated and sealed them away, with the help of each clan's sacred treasure, the Yasakani jewel, the Yada mirror, and the Kusanagi sword. 660 years later, Orochi's seal began to weaken. The three clans decided to move the vessel to another location. The Hakushu, who were sealed separately, used this opportunity to free themselves. While the clans were creating a new seal, one of the Hakushu killed the wife of the head of the Yasakani clan. The killer then approached the Yasakani under a disguise and informed them that the Kusanagi was responsible, even going so far as to plant the body of the wife in the Kusanagi homeland. This was supposedly atonement for letting the seal weaken. Angered by all of this, the Yasakani made a blood pact with the Orochi to gain the necessary power for revenge, which changed their once crimson flames to purple. Then they renamed themselves to the Yagami. Before the events of the King of Fighters 95 tournament, ever-reoccurring villain, Southtown boss, and sworn enemy of the Bogard brothers, Geese Howard, had Billy Kane recruit Eiji Kisaragi, the main rival of Ryo Sakazaki in the Kyokugen Dojo, for the next tournament. Billy then introduces Eiji to Iori Yagami, who is dragging the body of one of Geese's assassins. Iori is the heir of the Yagami clan. Not concerned with the duties of his clan, Iori actually doesn't like violence, even though he's so good at it. These three would form the rivals team and steal the invitations of the American sports team and enter the tournament.
initial contact. Received information Delta. Aircraft flying VFR in the total area to proceed. Inform ATC on initial contact. Received information Delta.
The format of the King of Fighters 95 is pretty much the same as the year prior. Two teams engage in 3-on-3 combat. The only major gameplay difference in this year's iteration is the fact that you can edit your team as opposed to being stuck to the same 3 members. The hero's first stop is at a hillside in China against the Psycho Soldiers. This fight takes place under a waterfall that produces water mirrors in the fore and backgrounds. I also like the kanji that can be seen on the rock, as well as those bright red leaves in the trees on the way back. The Psycho Soldiers once again put up a real good fight against Team Japan, but it was no match for Kyo's Orochi. Kim and the Korean Justice team fight in a forest much like the previous year. It looks like the setting is the perfect training ground for Kim's version of criminal reform. The wind effects are a nice touch as you can see the blades of grass blowing in the foreground, as well as the fire effects with the tree in the background. The hero team would defeat Korean Justice once again. The Ikari Warriors are operating at a crash site in what looks like a desert. After last year's tournament, Heidern began having reoccurring dreams of his wife and daughter, who were killed at the hands of Rugal 9 years ago. A familiar invitation with the letter R was sent to the Ikari Warriors again. Team Japan versus the Ikari Warriors is underway. I always like the matchup between Goro Daimon and Clark. It's the matchup of KOF's first grapplers. The Ikari Warriors do put up one hell of a fight, but Kyo again prevails with the Orochinagi. Elsewhere, the rival team starts to make their mark on the tournament. The standout this year is easily the newcomer Iori. They take out the women fighters at King's Illusion Bar, then the Art of Fighting team at their own Kyokugen Dojo. The main hall platform is an actual elevator that ascends up to the point of the stage. Not sure you can tell, but I love the SNK stages. Truly works of art. They're the type of ones that you want to just put in one of those wall art frames, blow them up real big, and hang them all up all over your room. Unfortunately for the practitioners of the Kyokugen style, they were still no match for Iori. The rivals do fight the Fatal Fury team on a dock in the Mediterranean. It was Billy's job to stop the Bogarts for Geese. Billy, the Bogarts, nor Geese really understood the power of Iori, as he proved time and time again why he was the standout, and he was destined to meet Kyo in the finals. With this win, the finals of the King of Fighters 95 was set. Kyo and Team Japan would face off against the rivals. The final fight takes place between the heirs of the Kusanagi and the Yagami, with Kyo narrowly securing the victory. After their victory, Daimon, Benimaru, and Kyo found themselves surrounded by a cloud of gas. Then were taken to an unspecified location. There they were greeted by the host. Rugal had been alive, plotting his revenge. He had a special treat just in store for the heir of the Kusanagi. With the help of his secretary Vice, he brainwashed Sasio Kusanagi, who was thought to have perished during the events of King of Fighters 94. Under Rugal's behest, Sasio attacks his son and teammates. After defeating him and snapping him out of Vice's control, Rugal appeared before them looking a bit different than he did before. His hair was now white and he had his right arm replaced with a cybernetic one. He also taps into a power seemingly making him stronger right off the bat. He challenges the hero team once again. Kyo delivers the final blow again. Rugal, frustrated by his defeat, tries to tap into the power even more, but his body couldn't handle it. Rugal was finally no more. Kyo seemingly recognized that shadow that engulfed him. He knew that his father would make it back to the Kusanagi house. All of the teams had fought with all their strength, culminating in that final battle between the hero team and the rival team. The heroes would end up taking through it all. With that, they decide to head back home to Japan. Iori knew that the power Rugal was trying to use was that of the Orochi. He also knew that the only individuals with the bloodline can handle such power. Iori then snaps and attacks his teammates, after declaring that the Kusanagis are next. The King of Fighters 95 was over, but many questions still had remained. How did Rugal come to obtain the Orochi power that eventually led to his demise? What are Geese's motivations behind KOF? Hopefully we can answer it all in the upcoming parts. For some, it was the closure that they needed, and for others, things are just beginning. Thanks for tuning in to the King of Fighters Legacy Part 2. If you do like what you see, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, clicking that notification bell so this way you'll know next time I upload the next part. I appreciate your time and thanks again.